One particular evening in September 12, 1952, a group of children playing outside in the town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, would witness what appeared to be a UFO zooming out of the sky and then land on the nearby farmer's field. What happened next is an occurrence that became one of the most talked about creature mysteries of the 20th century. Join us as we encounter the Flatwoods Monster on Crazy Cryptids. The Flatwoods Monster, also known as the Braxton County Monster, the Phantom of Flatwoods, or the Green Monster, which is sighting defined the small village of less than 300 people for more than 6 decades. To this day, tourists come out of their way to Flatwoods to visit its monster museum and buy Green Monster souvenir. It was 7:15 p.m. of September 12, 1952. Several children were playing football when they suddenly noticed something bright and flashing screech across the sky as they watched it land at a neighboring farmer's property. The children, 14-year-old Eddie May and 13-year-old Fred May, ran home to tell their mother, Kathleen, of what they saw. Then a young group, 10-year-olds Tommy Heyer and Ronnie Shaver, 14-year-old Neil Nunley, and 17-year-old Gene Lemon tagged along to the spot where they claimed the object had crashed. According to initial reports, once the group arrived at the top of the hill, they found a red pulsating light, but wasn't sure if it was coming from the landed craft. However, when Gene Lemon shone his flashlight toward the glow, they were confronted by a man-like figure which appeared to have been surrounded by a pointed hood-like shape. The figure also had a round red face with eyes that had a greenish-orange color. They estimated the towering creature to be around 10 to 12 feet tall. Mrs. May claimed to have seen small claw-like hands and recalled that it had a head shaped like the ace of spades. The monster's torso or apron was described as dark and colorless and machine-like, almost as if the outer layer was some kind of armor. As the creature watched them and the group watched back, it made a hissing sound and glided toward them. This caused the kids and Mrs. May to immediately turn and run. Mrs. May then claimed that the creature squirted an oily substance on her clothing. From the ensuing chaos, a pungent mist covered the air, which the children later claimed that it caused them to feel ill and nauseous. Gene Lemon would spend most of the evening vomiting, while 2 of the boys sought medical advice for a sore throat in the days following the incident. Because of reports of the crashed aircraft, the police and a few locals came to investigate the site. However, they found no evidence of a ship, a creature, or a pungent odor. Yet, the witnesses insisted that the encounter happened. The case eventually seeped out of the small town as it was descended upon by a growing amount of new UFO investigators, as well as by national news reporters. The U.S. Air Force would issue orders for the State National Guard to investigate the matter, eventually making its way to the government's Project Blue Book program. Local newspapers reported differing points of view from local witnesses. Some described the UFOs as meteor-like, as it moved across the sky and seemed to burn up, and there were no known remains discovered at the site where the children said the UFO had landed. In the following days since the September 12 happening, several detailed sightings and encounters with the Flatwoods Monster were reported. Writers and journalists also published interviews with locals who had been visited by the Men in Black. Year 2000, an investigation by Joe Nickel of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, or CSI, concluded that the bright light in the sky reported by the kids on September 12 was most likely a meteor, and that the pulsating red light was probably a hazard beacon or swamp gas. As far as the creature, Nichols says that the witnesses' elevated anxiety caused them to view a perched barn owl on a tree as the Flatwoods Monster. Skeptics then concluded that the foliage beneath the owl may have created the illusion of the greenish skirt of the creature. Researchers also concluded that the witnesses' inability to agree on whether a creature had arms, along with May's claim of an extended small claw-like hands, matched the description of a barn owl with its talons gripping a tree branch. What about the stench and the nauseating pungent smell? According to skeptic Ryan Haupt, the nausea reported by some of the witnesses as symptoms consistent with hysteria and overexertion. The awful smell can be attributed to the fact that the incident took place near an animal farm. However, according to recent interviews, the surviving witnesses still stand by their story. Nowadays, much like any good story or fallacy, you can merchandise the hell out of it. From welcome signs, museums, annual festivals, gift shops, and restaurants, Braxton County has wholeheartedly embraced the legend of September 12, 1952. True or not, let's thank what the original witnesses on doing what a lot of people can't. Put Flatwoods, West Virginia on the map. Without their story, we won't have these side quests to go through next time we pop in some retro gaming.